Hello everybody and welcome to Lights Up. This is our pre-game show where we have a look at all the WNBL games on the slate this weekend. Joining me is Sharin Milner, the 2011 Grand Final MVP. Sharin, the league is evenly balanced right now, especially the top 5-6 teams. Let's see what we've got to look forward to this weekend.
Yeah, well, another great round coming up. We're kicking things off Friday night up in Townsville. Townsville versus Sydney Flames in what's really a make-or-break weekend for the Sydney Flames in their Sunshine Swing. Then we've got the ABC Game of the Week. Make sure you tune into that one live streaming on Grandstand or on the ABC Saturday. Bulleen Boomers at home versus the West Coast Waves. Also a make-or-break game for the Waves, you would think. Saturday, not much love for the Waves. They've got Dandenong at home. They'd be hoping there's glad wrap on the rings, I think, the way Dandenong is shooting the ball. Then we've got Bendigo Spirit hosting Adelaide Lightning, which should be an absolute cracker of a game. On Sunday, Logan Thunder up there against Sydney Flames. As I said, Sydney really need to win both if they're going to, try and resurge their season. But Logan have some good signs and are definitely improving, so should be a good game on the Sunday as well.
I think Sharon, that the Waves had better hope that there's more than glad wrap on the rings out of Dandenong. I think they need the door from a bank vault if they're going to stop Dandenong from scoring, because this is another game that I think Dandenong are going to clock up at least 90. They might tick over into triple figures.
Yeah, no disrespect to the Waves whatsoever. It's just that Dandenong team are absolutely scary. You've just had Sarah Blickov step up last weekend with 17. They've thrown in a WNBA import. You know, the stats columns are filling up for all of their top 7 or 8 players. So a very scary prospect. I certainly wouldn't want to be walking into Dandenong Stadium against them.
Not at all. I'm waiting for Tegan Cunningham to light it up. I want to see the sleeve come to life and get at least 20-25, because I think she could be a real X factor down the stretch for Dandenong this season too.
Yeah, she had a good one a couple of weeks ago. I'm starting to think Mark just puts a hat in the middle and all the 2-3 guards pull in, and if their name comes out, well then Kath and Jenna are going to get them the ball, because it seems to be working like that. Sounds
like a good system. Probably the game of the week, as you mentioned, it's got to be Bendigo at home against Adelaide. Bendigo at 8-1. The Lightning are 6-3, coming off a loss to Dandenong. Bendigo's coming off a 2-0 road trip, which was pretty impressive. What do you make of this game at Bendigo?
Yeah, well, I know I'm always saying it. I should get commission on the door sales, but get down to Bendigo, get on the Calder. That game is going to be awesome. To start off with, let's start in the middle. You've got the two big girls, Bakovic v Richards. What a matchup that'll be. They're both really been the standout interior players so far. And then, of course, you've got Christy Harrow, who was just on fire. They're a host of players who they've introduced, including Renee Camino, who is just finding her way after a bit of an injury. And then on the flip side, Adelaide have a lot of dangerous players. Jenny Screen, you had Laura Hodges coming back. So it's an absolute star-studded game, and you'd be silly not to get down there on the weekend.
That is going to be a massive, massive game. Of course, Bendigo with Kelsey Griffin in the lineup now. So, they're loaded. Bendigo is loaded.
It is, but the more I say it, you could just pick out any team in that top 4 or 5. They are all pretty stacked this year. It's really exciting. I'm sure, it's causing a lot of matchup problems and headaches for the scouting report. The scouts probably look more like War and Peace at the moment. There's so many girls to scout these days, so absolutely great matchups all over the court.
And now we are going to take a couple of questions from our viewers via the social media network, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget, you can get onto the Facebook page for the WNBL, or you can get onto the Twitter account. You can go to Sharin Milner 4, Desi Globe at 6. Hit them up with any questions you want answered, and the girls will try their best to not answer on the Twitter, but they will save them up for the show, and we will be picking out a couple of questions to answer each week. Who we got this week, Shaz?
Yeah, well, thanks for that slap, GB. I try to do the right thing, just too efficient in my point guard ways, I think. But we had a great question from Ed, and that was, with all the away teams winning in round 7, is there a home court advantage in the WNBL anymore? I think that's a really good question. I think at the moment there are definitely home court advantages, and I think people would certainly beg to differ when they have to face Canberra with Lauren Jackson back and 5,000 people screaming at the AIS Arena. But certainly just the dominance of those top 4 teams, I don't think Dandenong or Bendigo have any fear walking into a venue such as Townsville or Logan or West Coast anymore. I think experience plays a big part, and we've certainly got a lot of experienced players in the league this year. But as the season goes on, I think you'll find the home court advantage playing in more and more, and it should be interesting, but very good question, GB.
Always, I think the home court advantage increases according to the calibre of the team you're playing, doesn't it? And you know, because I mean, Townsville Fire over the years, the Fire was always considered to have a genuine home court advantage, and they had good teams on the floor to go with it, didn't they? And I guess, having said that, teams don't want to come and play Dandenong at Dandenong, and they probably don't like coming to the Ven to play Bulleen either.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Townsville, it's a shame that we don't get to see more of that atmosphere up there in terms of on TV, because they are practically on the court. They were that loud at their old venue. They've got a beautiful new venue they play out of, and they're certainly very loud and parochial, but you're right, it definitely is determined by the scoreboard. And at the moment, they've just had some pretty awesome units walking into that stadium, which have kept that crowd quiet. But certainly, as the games get closer, every venue plays a part, and we've seen great crowd attendances this year, and hopefully that continues.
Fantastic. Hit us up with the next question.
All right, the next one was a bit of a curly one. We had Erin Brooks tweeting in, are the Rangers beatable when all the stars are firing at once and having the depth on the bench that they do? And I think that is the one that is on everyone's minds. And I think any coach would be scared to admit that, unfortunately, if all their stars were firing, I couldn't really see a way around it. But for mine, I think they're beatable, but it's a tough ask. You have to control the boards, which is going to stop their running game. You have to take care of the ball and really cut off their supply, which you can almost narrow down to two players, and that's Jenna O'Hea and Kath McLeod. But in saying that, those players can break down anyone one-on-one. So if you manage to, I guess, control them, you're just going to have to pray people like Cunningham and Wright now and Cummings aren't hitting their open jump shots. The
other thing with Dandenong as well is that, you know, if you try and do all those things anyway, they're going to find, you know, a different way to beat you anyway, aren't they? And they're not just going to lie down. They're not really just a finesse team. They'll grind you out. They'll run you off multiple screens until the bruises are dark blue. They do have multiple ways of beating you, as well as, I guess, the multi-talented lineup. Yeah, absolutely. And I think the buzzword for me this season is continuity. Bendigo and Dandenong have kept a lot of their roster together, so they've got that understanding. And yeah, they know their roles. I guess the only concern for me, it's a bit of a compliment as well, is that I really believe Jenna O'Hea is the best player in the league. She's an absolute match winner at the moment. She seems content with just distributing and playing her role in that sense and only stepping up when needed. She hasn't been needed yet. So I really hope, I guess for their sake, and I love seeing her when she takes over a game, that if Dandenong are in a tight one, she still has that confidence and ability to step up, even though she hasn't had to do it yet. So there you have it. I guess we'll find out in due course whether Dandenong is indeed beatable during the WNBL season. That is it for this week on Lights Up. Don't forget you can follow everything on the WNBL at the WNBL website, wnbl.com.au. You can follow the Facebook page and the Twitter at WNBL. You can follow the players likewise at Twitter, and our co-hosts Sharin Milner at Sharin Milner 4 and Desi Globitz at Desi Globitz 6. And of course the ABC is a big contributor to the WNBL. Don't forget the Friday night game always streams live on the ABC Grandstand page, and it's shown nationally on television at 4 o'clock every Saturday afternoon. And the other people we can't do without, of course, are the sponsors: IINet, Champion, ABC, Australian Sports Commission, Sporting Pulse, Sporting and ANFA. Chuz, thanks for a big week. You've been terrific, and we look forward to some big games on the weekend. Until next week, that is it from Lights Up.